What you're looking at is a game called Generation Zero, a first-person shooter developed and published by Avalanche Studios. This game is by far the most visually stunning indie game that I've played, especially for its first-person shooter. It's a proper travesty that you, the viewer, will only be able to view it in 720p. In this game, you play as a teenager returning from vacation. Upon your arrival, you find that human inhabitants have disappeared, fled, or worse. Now deadly machines patrol the land and searching for human life. Although it may seem like a perilous situation, it's a rather familiar feeling as it's oh so similar to another franchise, Far Cry. In fact, this game plays the exact same as Far Cry, with its looter shooter aspects along with the enemies that patrol or guard a certain area of the game. But it's not without its flaws. The leveling takes an exorbitant amount of XP, the equipment is far too plentiful leading to a practically obsolete crafting system, and the combat system is rather sloppy. The game's atmosphere and handling leads you to believe you are heavily outmatched and thus you should adopt a more ghost-like playstyle. However, repeatedly throughout my playthrough it was more punishing to me, the player, for even attempting to do sections of the game stealthily. If you are caught or spotted, there is no way to dodge or lose them without being completely out of the sight. You can't, say, hide in a bush after killing someone and use their corpse to lure another guard closer so you can do a melee takedown, as you can in Far Cry. It's severely lacking in the stealth department, especially with the lack of a melee button. Although it may seem impractical for me to nitpick the stealth mechanics of this game, but when you clearly advertise it as such, I would expect a polished mechanism and ecosystem. There are no stealth multi-kills. You have to take one, hide for what feels like forever, then shoot the other. The bots simply detect you way too fast and way too easily. Which would have been fine if there was a simple tutorial to explain this, rather than just a few lines of text in the objective bar. This game suffers from the thing most games that are as open-ended and as vague as this do. A simple lack of direction. There is simply no reason for you to be involved in this game at all. What makes me involved in a game like this is a linear story that is spoon-fed to me at the beginning and is slowly weaned off, and allows the player to mature and get used to mechanics that this game offers, letting them branch out and experience for themselves. Letting the player just explore without explaining anything other than just an opening cutscene makes me feel uninvolved. This game just feels bland at the beginning and bland at the middle. You don't even get to see that your efforts pay off because there is no survivors. What made a similar game like Far Cry feel better is that there's a payoff to it besides some lore and XP. You physically get to see that you are actively making a difference. Once you clear a section, it remains clear in Far Cry. This game feels like it wants to be a mix of DayZ and Far Cry, and so far it feels exactly like it. You may ask, why DayZ and not something else? Well, it's because in this game you end up running to other places because it's easier than trying to find a vehicle bench, spawn a bike, and ride a bike. It's genuinely easier to hike wherever I want than to be limited by the most infuriating bike in any game that I've played. The voice acting is also rather unimpressive and uninvolved. I get that English isn't their first language, but at least make it sound like you're not just reading off a script. Overall, it's an okay game. Would I recommend that you download it and play it for yourself? No. But if you do catch yourself having some free time and have nothing better to do, go ahead and give this game a try. It's a solid 6 out of 10.